Hi everyone, welcome to Ask a Puppy Trainer Show. I am Bethany, this is Maple. She's watching dogs work outside. That's what she's doing right now. How is our mic situation? Are we good? All right, we're good to go. Please everybody ask questions down in the comments below. Include the age and breed of your dog. I got people rolling in. I definitely want to get to your questions. Don't, we're moaning. She's moaning at me. I definitely want to get to your questions today. What are you doing? Look, she's got no tail. This is an Aussie right here. What are you doing? You trying to figure out how to hang out up here? I demanded to have Maple for today, and she's like double the size that she was 2 weeks ago. So we're gonna see how she does. She's so soft. You guys know I love Aussies. Herding dogs are my jam. If you tell me you got a herding dog, I'll prioritize you. That's what I'm gonna do today. Since I'm flying solo, it's all my rules. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and dive into some of the ones that were sent in, but please put your comments below. All right, Lep says 6-month-old, Mini GD, he wakes up at 5 a.m. every day and he just wants to play. He cries extremely loud. Okay, so there's a tricky part to this. I'm curious as to when he's going to bed, to be honest, because maybe it's too much of a block of time. But I kind of attribute it a little bit to like when my little girl gets up and it's very clear she's awake. You're not going to necessarily be able to force them to go back to sleep unless you work with them a little bit. However, if you work with them at 5 a.m., it can create a bad habit. And now they're doing it every day and they expect it every day. So I've just got a few questions that I kind of want you to ask yourself in your situation and see if we can tweak the time. Try putting the puppy to bed an hour later. I've noticed that a lot of people, they actually put their puppy to bed because they're tired. It's dark, it's getting dark earlier especially, and they're still like cleaning up the kitchen, brushing their teeth, doing some final things, and it's another 30, 45 minutes before they go to bed. And so what I would suggest that you do is do sorry, because she's not chewing, he's not. Make sure that you are doing a final potty right before your head hits the pillow. And then maybe even a short little session of house, that's what we call crate, house, down, let's go, house, down, let's go. Nice and calm, we're chilling them out at the end of the night. Good, pause, piece of food, really take your time, basically. And maybe do that before bed as well. What I would suggest other than that is kind of to ride it out in the mornings a little bit if you don't think it's an issue with going to bed too early. Because I think that's really the thing. It's not fair, why I compared it to my kid. It's not fair if you're going to bed really early to kind of expect that from your dog, especially, oh, you're sniffing, especially if they can see sunlight. And so another thing you might want to consider is not just maybe covering with a blanket that they could pull in and destroy, but maybe getting one of those plastic crate covers. I'm gonna have to put her away. She's like,
whatever that puppy is doing on live, I need that.
She's like entertaining herself, but she's not being destructive. But anyway, those crate covers you can get on Amazon that actually really kind of seal up nicely. Maybe you should, look into that. The reason I'm just cautious about a big, heavy blanket is because it can get really stuffy inside of there if you don't, keep a flap open. So anyway, those are some things that I would look at. Really see, does your dog genuinely need an outlet? Or can you make some tweaks? That way you don't have to feel bad about leaving them in there, telling them, no, knock it off, just like tap the crate, something like that. Throw a rolled up sock at their crate and be like, knock it off at 5 in the morning. Maybe they'll be quiet and go back to sleep if they can't see any sunlight. Maybe you're waking them up. Snoring and things like that can sometimes wake up puppies, so that can sometimes be a thing too. Oh, I love how I give her a massage and she settles down. This won't last very long at her age, but do you guys notice just like how I'm touching her? If you want to calm her puppy, start touching your puppy. That sounds weird. Start giving pets to your puppy in a way that has them melt into it rather than like cutesy head stuff, which just makes them kind of wily and get them excited. And I was working with a family with this the other day, and I was really getting the kids into it, where they would hold the puppy's head, Maple, so the puppy wouldn't lick their face to death, because they're little humans, you know, it's hard for them to pet their puppy without their puppy getting out of control. So I had them like hold his head like this and give him under the neck scratchies, but they were doing it like this, like their fingers were going like this, and I was like, okay guys, slow your fingers down. And Bruce eventually was just like, you know, and melted into it, even with the youngest, who was 4. And so the way that you're petting your puppy and just communicating things is so important. If Maple started nipping me, even doing it nice and calmly, I mean, she'd be gone back to crate right away, because she's telling me she doesn't want to be pet. She wants to be worked with or played with. She wants to do things. And so stop trying to pet your puppy, you know, when they kind of have that mentality. All right, so I kind of answered 2 questions. I'm sure that one's in there somewhere. Oh, I'm just pulling up my Instagram so I can get to questions on here. And it's going to take, oh, darn it. Since I joined late, I don't get to see previous questions. Can you read them? Totally forgot about that. So we're going to do one of our Instagrams.
I have a 6-month English Cocker Spaniel. How do I train him to chill, stop chewing things off the ground, walking, also stop chewing and biting everything? Thank you.
Well, we have an online school, and I would highly suggest getting a program, because what you're dealing with is you're wanting all the things. And so you need like a comprehensive program to target all the things. And we have one in our online school on thepuppyacademy.com. She's starting to whine. So next is going to come chewing on the pillows. Look how big she is now. You know, I didn't know. She's so heavy too. There you go. She's still a puppy. Okay. And so I'm going to give you, you know, some advice, of course, but I just want to let you know that it's not going to cover all the things that you're wanting to. I mean, I could spend 2 hours on what you mentioned. But anyway, the short version is a 6-month-old. You can have head control on that dog. Look into martingales, you know, slip leashes, gentle leaders, other training tools. See what kind of piques your interest. And watch about 6 videos on how to use each of those training tools, or get a trainer, a one-on-one lesson to show you how to use them. You need head control with that age. It's super, super important. If you don't have head control, if you're like, I am not interested in putting anything around my dog's neck, well, a harness is designed to make your dog stronger and pull through, and it gives them complete head stretch, all of that. A front clip harness we don't suggest for dogs over 7-8 pounds, maybe 10 pounds, under 2 years old, to be honest. And that's because of the way that it works. The shoulders, over and over, it's a front clip. So you're taking a dog that's developing and you're working them and twisting them. And we're just not a fan, unless your dog is really low weight or doesn't pull very hard, you know. I just don't want to see any golden retrievers, you know, under 2 on front clip harnesses. You know, I understand why people use them. They think that maybe it's better for them than using a training tool like a slip leash or something to have head control, or a martingale with a chain or something like that. But just in our expert opinion, no. Don't do it until they have fully physically developed, and then it's no big deal. Okay. So you could look at something like that to get that head control. If you don't do that, if you still say to me, no, I'm not going to do that, like it's just not my thing, it's not how I've trained dogs in the past. You hear that sometimes. Each dog is its own individual, but if you're not going to do that, you're going to have to really work hard to build incredible food drive. I did this with my little dog, Happy, who was nervous of the world and barked at everything from the day I got her. And so she became obsessed with food, because I created that. That way I could go out into the world and food trumped everything. And so that's the other way that you want to go if you're not going to get head control. I would still like you to use food, but you don't have to build an insane amount of food drive if you have more leadership and guidance and clarity with the dog. Like if anybody, you know, rides horses, it would be like trying to lead a horse just with your knees. Horses can do that. Dogs can walk just on harnesses, but it takes a long time to teach them that, and it takes a long time to develop that special relationship where I can just squeeze a horse and I don't even have to use my reins, and they go in different directions. And so they got to be led by the head. And so think of it that way. That might help. Haven't used that one in a while. Okay. Oh, I've got some stuff on here now. Someone says, Kendall, is that who asked the long question? No, it's not. So Kendall uses a slip leash. What was her question? Can you find it? I think it's lower.
Lower?
I think so. No, I'm wrong. Totally wrong. Don't listen to me. Do whatever you're going to do.
That's the one we just did.
Oh, it is. Oh, so she says she does use a slip lead. Okay. Then slip leads are not super easy to use. They actually, out of all the training tools, they take the most skill handling wise. And so you want to start with a really loose lead and make it very clear that picking things up off the ground, nipping, biting, things like that, things around, not acceptable. Then you get your nice loose lead walk, okay? Then if she's nipping, biting you, the lead, anything like that, and just getting rambunctious in general, we do slip leash pressure straight up in the air. We do this with harnesses too. It's just not as effective on larger breed dogs. But just straight up in the air, don't lift her front feet off the ground or anything. But it's firm enough to let them know that we mean it. And you can actually feel, one really great thing about a slip leash is you can really feel the tension in the body, and you'll feel the body relax. And like just, they have to. Like if you go up in the air, this is sit, like guidance backwards, down to the ground is down, straight up in the air is calm down, like chill out. You don't say no, don't make a big fuss, like just be chill about it. You'll feel them, it's not about sit, you'll feel them kind of relax a bit, loosen the lead immediately. She's gonna come right back at it. She's gonna be like, let me try again. You're gonna do it again, rinse and repeat until the next time, you're working with her and someone walks by and she gets snappy for any reason in the house or outside of the house, just pressure up and she'll divert her attention right away. I would make sure we're giving her lots of challenges, waiting at thresholds, doing place duration. Is she able to reset herself on place if she makes a mistake? All those body language techniques that really calm a dog down nicely. We want to make sure that we're doing those. There's about a million, but there's a few to look into. Okay, 10-week-old Bernadoodle isn't food motivated. The vet isn't concerned, but said no treats yet. So, okay, help. This is from Mick Weiss. So I'm not sure why the vet would say no treats yet, other than the fact that, you don't give a baby a piece of cake. I mean, you just don't. Well, some people do it for Instagram, but in general, you're not doing it regularly every day. So maybe that's why your vet said no treats, because a lot of treats are filled with crap, with additives and sugary crappiness. But there are lots of treats that are super healthy. One of my favorite brands is actually Real Meat. That's what it's called. Go on Amazon and look up Real Meat. A dog food will come up, treats will come up, and that's a really solid way to do it. You could also just start buying a dog food that is like a treat. Ziwi, I believe it's Ziwi, and Real Meat dog food are two excellent options. Now, of course, with excellent options, what do you get? Pricey. They are very pricey, I'm not gonna lie. So what you could do is you could feed kibble and then just feed something yummy like Stella and Chewy's. That's another one that's freeze-dried food that you can break apart. It is a bit crumbly, but you can break it apart and that can be your treats, and it's a nice food topper. Or you could do the other dog food or treats as a topper as well. And what I mean when I say topper is that you can still feed mostly kibble, but then 1/3 of the food, maybe for a Bernese Mountain Dog, maybe it's 1/4, you are doing through training, and that can be your healthier food. And if you want to save some money, go to Costco and get frozen chicken breast. I did this for years with my little dog, Happy. I was not paying, $40 for a 2-pound bag of jerky. And so I would just seriously go to Costco. I would boil enough food for 4 days, because that's how long it lasts in the fridge. I would boil the chicken and it would stay in the fridge, and every walk we did, it was tiny pieces of boiled chicken. And so if you want to be crazy like me and build some food drive, that's how you're going to do it. You don't have to train with food. You really don't. But it is much harder not to, and it's definitely a specific skill set. So if that's something that interested you, you would want to find a trainer that can train through body manipulation, body language, leash. It doesn't mean that it's harsh. It just takes more time. So like, for instance, I don't think I did this today, but we did have a dog one time where I kind of like wiggled his shoulders because he was in the middle of laying down, but he was a little distracted. I kind of wiggled his shoulders and he felt soft and he kind of just went into a down. So that's what I meant by body manipulation. If a dog is stiff, you leave them alone and you get them comfortable and loosened up. It's actually how I started training dogs forever ago. We didn't use food. And so that was literally 35 years ago. It was a long time ago. But that's why I said food is so much easier. But I do have that skill set. But I don't think a lot of trainers do that anymore, especially with puppies. It is doable. And so you just got to make a choice, like, you know, what you want to do. Okay. All right. Let me move on. Oh, Kindle, I asked a long question. Yes, you did. No, it's okay. It was a great question. I just, you know, I could do a whole show on it. Do we have any other questions on Instagram? For some reason, I can't see them.
Yeah,
Give me another one.
10-month-old Bernadoodle continues to eat and throw up non-food object. Is this anxiety or it requires meds? Is this an anxiety thing that requires meds?
10-month-old Labradoodle keeps
Bernadoodle
keeps eating and throwing up things in the house. By things, I'm guessing you mean socks or a pen or like weird stuff they're finding. Does this dog need medication? Is this an anxiety thing? Sometimes it is, but not usually with puppies. I think that so many people on here is like, oh my God, my dog does the same thing. And I worked with a dog that ate a bra, and they threw up the bra because they took them in right away and they gave them, you know, what they needed to do to get them to throw up. They still had to cut the dog open because it was a wire bra and the wire had already separated itself from the cloth. Why am I telling you this story? Because this is a serious issue. And the idea for me that a dog that meds would stop a dog from eating things, it's interesting. I wonder if someone told you that. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Even if your dog does have anxiety, meds is not going to just stop anxiety. It might curb it a little bit, but that's it. I'm sure it's fun for the dog. Like labs throughout history have been sock eaters, and that's what they do. And so it's very much a retriever thing, but lots of different dogs do it. So for me, I would come into your home and I would look at how you spend your day, you know, like on a Zoom or through a phone call or something, but that's what I meant, like metaphorically. And really look at every part of this dog's life and why there's so much to grab onto, why they're able to grab onto so many things. This dog would be on crate rotation, and when not in crate, would be back tied to something after being taught a really solid place command, which at 10 months old, you can do that in a week. Ricky asked me to stop just sending people to YouTube randomly. So I'm gonna do this. You need to go visit Rough Beginnings Rehab. Rough is R-U-F-F, Rough Beginnings Rehab on YouTube. You can look in the puppy section. It might be easier. There's like 500 videos. I mean, just type in place, teach place, you know, and you're gonna get a lot of options. And so for me, that would be my most important thing, is to teach this dog by preventing it from happening first, and then see where the holes in my training are. Where is there anxiety to work on? Where is there a lack of impulse control? Is my dog waiting at all thresholds? Is my dog, doesn't have to be in a perfect heel on the leash, but not pulling me. Like, you should be walking a 10-month-old without it pulling you all over town. So is it walking with you nicely on a loose leash? All of those things I would want to hit secondary to crate structure, routine, back tied after they understand place duration. And if they're not back tied, they're actually tethered to me. I'm going to do that for 2 to 4 weeks and work on my foundation. And I'm going to make sure I'm like toddler proofing my house. It's like what we call puppy proofing, but it's the same thing I've learned as like kid proofing. So if you've ever had kids, it's the same thing, except you don't have to worry about the outlets. And so really just get your brain into, proofing your home as if you had a, crawling baby, or as if your puppy was 10 weeks, 12 weeks old again and running around. Like really think of all those scenarios that are dangerous, because what's happening is dangerous. It's a dangerous habit. Then after you've done all that and you've worked on your foundation for a few weeks and you've gotten into a new groove, then you can like put their favorite thing, a sock, rolled up, or those toilet paper rolls, like the inside, the cardboard part, drop that over here and put a few things and do loose leash, let's go work or recall work, and set a valuable no for going for those things. It doesn't mean he won't do it when you're not around, but at least it's getting you there. Your dog needs to be more respectful of your household, but you cannot just come in and demand respect. We need to make sure that your dog is set up for success in the first place. Okay, that was a long one, but a good one, because I know that is happening to 30% of you that are watching right now. Okay, Mini Dachshund, 7 weeks, hates being in crate, whether it's for an hour or whatever while I'm gone. 7 weeks? I'm wondering why you have a 7-week-old Dachshund. The reason I say that, I'm not saying that to be mean, I swear, girl named Carl. If that's true, that's so cool. Girl named Carl. Mini Dachshund, 7 weeks. So nobody should ever have a puppy that young, first of all. They are missing really key things to their early development, and you are definitely likely to have more issues when you get a puppy in the 6-7 week range. But I know sometimes rescues and things like that, sometimes you don't have a choice. Sometimes you found it on the street. I mean, there's just a number of things that could be that situation. But it definitely, more anxiety, more like separation issues. Having a puppy that young, not getting that early important development with their siblings, you're likely to have more issues. I would focus more right now on what's happening outside of crate. How are you setting boundaries, rules, discipline, fun, of course, but those siblings and the mom, hopefully, if it was a good mom, was providing boundaries, like discipline, and I don't necessarily mean punishment, I just mean setting an expectation for if you behave this way, this is going to happen. And if you behave this way, this consequence is good, and then this consequence is not so good. So it's like, how are you setting that up in your home for your puppy? I would definitely consider maybe doing a playpen, but with such a small breed dog, you got to make sure the playpen's very safe, that they can't get something stuck in it. Maybe the plastic ones might be best rather than a wire. I'm not sure. I would look into that though. They even have some now that come with like bottom covers. So pee accidents and things like that aren't as big of an issue. And provide them, normally we don't do this, normally I don't say do this, but provide them with something soft and warm. They even have these little puppies you can buy with heartbeats in them for babies. Yes, for babies too. I was just looking at something for Evie. That is why this is happening to me. They have it for puppies as well as kids, where they have like a heartbeat and they are warm and things like that. You might want to consider that, It's like putting, baby chicks under a heat lamp. So you might want to consider something like that. It won't last long, like a few weeks, and he'll probably start peeing on that nice soft blanket and chewing on that little puppy. So it doesn't last long, but you're kind of still in this infant, stage of where maybe he needs to feel more comforted and more loved. And when you're not there, play radio, maybe record your voice and play it over and over again. I mean, there's a number of things that you can do to try to make your puppy feel more comfortable. Okay. Ooh, that was a good one too.
Can you do the Instagram one?
Yeah, Instagram.
12-week-old jumps and bites my toddler. How can I teach him to stop? It's a German Shepherd.
Oh, I finally got the new ones in. Okay. Mimi says, 12-week-old jumps, bites toddler. How could I teach him to stop? Mimi, German Shepherd. Thank you, Mimi. Well, first of all, Mimi, come on. You got a German Shepherd. Come on. You got a, milder version of a Malinois. That's what you did. Well done. No, I'm just kidding. I love German Shepherds. They are my second favorite breed. You saw the first one. I had her in here. That's why I demanded she be in here today. Okay. So first of all, getting a puppy with a toddler, which I ask my husband once a week, and he looks at me like I'm insane, because I am. because I'm obsessed with dogs. It's dumb, but I understand it. Like, I'm with you. Like, I want one so bad. I'm like, it would be so cute. No, it wouldn't. No, it wouldn't, because I'd be dealing with the same thing that you're dealing with right now. So it is ideal to try to wait till your kid can be involved more in the training, and we all want our toddlers to be involved with the puppy. I do. Evie is 16, 17 months old, and I'm like, Evie, do this, because she's starting to mimic, and I'm like trying to get her to do things. It's not working. So even if your toddler is 3 years old, I have a niece who's 3, and I see her, interact with the dogs. She still steps on them, and there's just still a lot, and she still kind of gets flighty, sometimes when they jump and things like that, which makes them more jumpy because kids tend to act like prey. Some adults do it too. If you're one of those people that like feed a treat and you like feel teeth and it's like nails on a chalkboard for you, and you pull up like, ooh, you're acting like prey, and it makes the puppies and dogs more pushy, flighty, frantic, nippy, excited, all of those things. I'm not going to tell a 3-year-old to stop doing that, because you can't. You can work with them, help them learn to be calm, things like that. But it's just hard. So you want to focus more on the puppy, making sure your toddler feels comfortable, protected. I know even if they're bit, a lot of times they go in again. I'm not saying that won't happen, but I have absolutely been in homes where the 4-year-old won't come out of her room, and she has to open the door and go, is so-and-so out? Is Buddy out? And we have to, oh, no, Buddy's away. You're okay. Come on out of your room. I've been in homes like that. And I just want to make sure, that this stuff kind of doesn't happen. Actually, I had something similar to that happen in my own family. We got a golden retriever for my brother, who I think was 4 at the time, 3, 4, and just clobbered him because they grow so much faster. And you're dealing with a 12-week-old. Okay, my speech is over, I swear. Sparky's not here to rein in my stories, so they're all like coming out. So I hope that you understand, like genuinely from my heart, that I get where you're coming from. I definitely get the want, and I feel for you big time. So let's talk about how to really help you specifically. I'm talking a lot in generalizations because I know lots of people are dealing with this in different phases of their life. So 12-week-old German Shepherd. Are you on a crate schedule, first of all? And I think I'm going to end with this question. It's so good. Yeah, I think so. Are you on a crate schedule? Every time your puppy is not in crate, let's make sure that he is on leash, especially if your toddler is out, but just in general. Every time this German Shepherd comes out of crate, this is not just because you have a toddler, it just goes double. You have a treat pouch on you, a bait bag on you with the food. That way you pause at the bedroom door, any door that opens, pause at crate door, bedroom door, any door in the house that's opening while you're walking through it with your puppy, you're stopping. Sit, good food, open door, he tries to go through it, block with your leg, shut the door, don't shut your puppy in the door, use your body language, not the door. Get them to settle with an open door. Let's go. A few turns, stop and sit food. Work your way out to your toddler. I don't know how old your toddler is, if she has to be in a pack and play or whatever the situation is, but obviously you can't be away from them for too long, leaving them to their own devices. But you just don't want to rush getting your puppy out the door and then potty and coming back in. My point is you got to really stay engaged with that puppy and teach your puppy to focus on you first. And then if your toddler runs up, depending on her age, his or her age, you've got to really circumvent, the situation or stop your kid. Let's see if I've got an update on how old. She's about to be 3. Okay, so she's old enough. She's just starting to rationalize and put things together, and she's so you can be like, okay, stop. I'm gonna bring out the puppy, and go around her for potty break, back inside, really taking your time, and just go ahead and start teaching her that when you're working with the puppy, or if the puppy is laying down or anything like that, to not bother the puppy. That I don't even know if she wants to have anything to do with the puppy, but if she does, what you're going to do, the best you can do is teach her how to do sit. And honestly, you're the one who's actually doing the sit and keeping the puppy back, and then have her drop food on the floor. That way, unless she really doesn't mind puppy teeth. Some kids are hard as nails. I actually just worked with a 5-year-old that was better than the older children. Calm, authoritative voice, and could care less if she got a few like teefies. I was like, I need to hire this kid. I was like, this kid needs to be an animal trainer of some sort. So some kids really have a knack for it. So you kind of have to distinguish that. But if it's like, that's my version of a 3-year-old, by the way. Josh, please don't use that in any replays. I would really appreciate that when you do the content for social media. But if she's like strong about it, she can handle it, I don't care. But if she's like, oh, he, just have her drop it on the floor. Good. But that's really the only thing. You can teach her how to pet the body rather than the head, but you're still going to get mouthiness. It's a German Shepherd. And so she can, while you're there, the puppy's already calm. I'm jumping to another topic now. The puppy's already calm. Don't pet an excited puppy. Don't pet a puppy that you're working with, not a German Shepherd that's 12 weeks old. Puppy's just laying around next to you, tethered to you on leash. Your little girl's been doing her own thing. She comes over and wants to pet the puppy. Be like, okay, let's check. Is the puppy calm? Maybe he raised his head, but he's not like going nuts. That's when you can pet the puppy. You do it first. Stay away from the head. I don't know if you saw how I was petting Maple when she was here, but you can take tips from that from it would have been the second. It's not really a question. I created my own question, like the second question. But you can be calm and be like, okay, pet your puppy right here. Not the head, not the ears. She's still going to get mouthed. You can try to block for a second, like block the head, like physically block the head, and try to feed treats just so your daughter can have like a little touching. But then it's going to get too much and be like, okay, that's enough. And then you're going to take the leash, which could be, I would get a martingale. I would look on Amazon and get a cloth martingale for your dog to be on leash out with you. That's what I would do. Write that down. And then with that martingale, if the puppy gets too excited, I would just go, no, pressure up in the air. I might need to stand up and get in front of my dog, my hips facing my dog. And if my daughter's trying to get around me to get to the puppy, it's a no for her. I'm blocking her too. It's like I got two animals. I'm blocking. You've really got to manage energy in that way. And I would strongly suggest that you are really considerate with the mouthing in other parts of working with your puppy, like tug, drop, tug, drop. If he gets a finger, it's not a big deal. You're not like no and making a big deal about it. And if he chews the edge of the dog bed, get a cot. First of all, you got a German Shepherd, don't get cute stuffed dog beds. Buy a sturdy cot. And he starts chewing on the edge of the cot, and you're just like, no, move in, cut it out, move away. But it's not like a big deal, and then you're like giving them a bone or something instead, or redirecting them to the bone. But when it comes to your little girl, maybe try a pet corrector. It squirts out air. It might startle her too, so take her in another room and introduce the noise to her. It goes, ch, ch. It should be brief, a brief little squirt, a burst of air. And introduce it to her first, and then be like, this is what we're going to use when the puppy gets too wild with you. All right, I've given you a million things, but bottom line, keep this puppy on leash and be on a very strict schedule. Make sure you guys are working your puppies away from your kids. I cannot stress this enough. Your puppy will take on the persona of your wildest, most fun child. I changed what I said. Wild, fun, whatever, however you want to look at it. That is how it works. They would do the same thing in a pack of dogs. If you get a puppy and you have a pack of dogs already, your puppy will take on the energy and habits of the wildest dog in the group. That's why you have to control everything. But no, there is an element of truth in that. And so you need to also be exposing your puppy to what it's like to be worked with, and work on boundaries and fun and what's good and what's not good when your little girl, I don't know, she's probably not taking naps at that age, I don't know. But when your little girl is not around, or maybe just you've set up like a little activity, or if you do screen time, she's doing that while you're working the puppy. Okay, I think I've gone over as much as I can, except to tell you, please do an online program. If it's not our online program, totally fine. But no, it's not.
Ours is the best.
Ricky says it's not fine because ours is the best. And it is.
You know.
I know.
Don't waste your money somewhere else.
I know.
How good it is.
It's true. It's very good. one of the reasons I think our program is so good is because it's so thorough. And you can talk to us one-on-one as well. That's why I think it's so good. But, or a trainer to your house once a week for the next month to 2 months. That would be my suggestion, because you got a lot going on. Unless you have a ton of experience with these breeds, so you already know the program that you want to follow, you're just adding your little girl into the mix. That's like the only new variable. You need to get on a program. Okay, guys, thank you so much. I went over time. I really enjoyed this, and I will see you same time, same place next week. Bye. Sparky just texted us. He's in trouble. Bye, guys. Have a good day.